Hello friends, this is Karen for Wow Embossing Powder. Today I have this card featuring two of the new embossing powders. This is Minty embossing glitter and this one is in the navy embossing powder. The stamps and dies for this card are from Picket Fence Studios. This is Wild Peonies stamp set. This is Big Hacks Word die and Aurora Borealis stamp. So I'm going to create my background by stamping the Aurora Borealis stamp onto this navy blue panel and heat emboss it with the Minty embossing glitter. Remember to use your anti-static powder. After inking up my stamp, I'm pressing firmly into my cardstock. Now I'm adding the Minty embossing glitter on top of my panel and I will be applying heat with my Wow Dual Heat tool from the back of the panel. Then you can go back and heat emboss the front part in case you missed a spot. And look at all that shine, looks absolutely beautiful even on colored cardstock. I'm also trimming down the edges of this panel. Now let's stamp the floral image and I will be using a dark wash jeans hybrid ink from LDRS Creative. I'm not using black ink because the heat embossing over black ink will be too dark in this case, and I want the navy blue color to show off. I stamp a second time part of the floral image, and now I'm ready to color. I will be using the following Copic markers: B99, YG17, YG03, YG00, RV00, RV02, RV04, and RV06. I had an unexpected emergency while coloring. My RV10 Copic marker ran out of ink, so I tried desperately to make a trip to Michael's when I found out that it was snowing and raining outside. It was freezing and not a good time to be driving. So I had to change my choice of Copic markers that I had originally used on my first card. And that's the reason why the flowers will look darker on this second card. Coloring these images took me a lot of time, so I'm just going to show you how I colored this part and some leaves, and I will speed up the video a little bit and I'll be back soon with you. Now that I finished coloring, I will heat emboss these flowers, so I'm adding the anti-static powder and I'm inking up the stamp and pressing firmly to get a good coverage of these flowers. Here I'm adding the In the Navy embossing powder and covering the whole image. Using my Wow Dual Heat tool, I will apply heat and melt the embossing powder. Now I have my flowers and my panel ready. So I will adhere a folded note card at the back of this panel using liquid glue. Then I added foam dots to the back of the flowers and placed both of them on top of the panel. Also, I trimmed down all the parts hanging out of the edges. Next, I added V99 to those white spots. They didn't look good in white, so the B99 Copic was the most similar color to my cardstock. And it did the job. Let's jump to the Big Hacks Word die now, and I have die cut 4 times this die out of white cardstock. I glue 3 of them on top of each other like a stack and reserve it, because this will work as a shadow. Then the last die cut was inked up with Wow embossing pad. I covered the whole die cut with Minty embossing glitter, and then I anchored it and melted the embossing glitter with my Wow Dual Heat tool. And this is a close-up of how it looks. It's very sparkly and very shiny. Off camera, I adhered the stack of dies behind this heat embossed die cut to act as a shadow. Now the big hack sentiment has been added on top of the flowers, and don't forget about the point in the eye. Finally, I added some Nuvo drops just like you see in the original card. Here you can see a closer look of how the embossing glitter shines beautifully in the background and as well as in the sentiment die. Also, in this second card, you can see the different colors in the flowers. I really hope you like this card and thank you so much for stopping by and keep shining.